Welcome to the latest episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This week we're discussing the 1989 action classic, Roadhouse, starring Patrick Swayze, Kelly Lynch. The list goes on and on. Sam Elliott. For those of you joining us for the first time, each week on the B Movie Club, we discuss a certain guilty pleasure and forgotten classic from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. What we do is I will pick a movie based upon maybe your suggestions, and I'll post it on our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. Give us a big thumbs up. Then you can send me your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, anything else you want to get off your chest, comments, questions about the movie, and I just might talk about it on the show. You can also subscribe on our page on YouTube, Kevin D, just type that in there. And click subscribe. It's absolutely free and you'll get updates whenever I upload a new video. You can also reach me directly through Twitter at KD9575. So feel free to drop me a line and tell me what's going on with you. Okay? Don't forget to spread the word because the more the merrier. Roadhouse. In this movie, Patrick Swayze plays Dalton, the best damn cooler in the business. A cooler evidently is kind of a head bouncer, doorman, maitre d' type, I guess. He essentially is the captain of the bouncers. He's a legend. And this guy named Tillman, who runs and owns a nightclub, I guess, called the Double Deuce in a fictional town of Jasper, just outside of Kansas City. So he tracks down Dalton, who is currently cooling, I guess you'd say. A different club offers him $5,000 and like $500 a night, some ridiculous amount of money, to come out there and clean up his crazy nightclub. Dalton arrives, and the place, it's like the Rough House from Pinocchio, if you remember that reference, where it's just, there's a band playing, with like chicken wire up to protect the band, while people are literally just murdering each other. There's like fights breaking out, chairs. It's like every fight from any Western you've seen where it's just anarchy. Just anarchy. There are bouncers there, but they aren't really doing much, except for this one bouncer who's just picking fights and throwing people and headbutting them. It's craziness. So after this one night, Dalton scopes out the scene. The owner, Tillman, says, you know what? He's the guy. Whatever he says goes. So he quickly fires a few of the more ridiculous bouncers, fires... there's a waitress there who's also selling drugs on the side. It's just that kind of place, I guess. Later he gets rid of a bartender who's skimming some of the profits. And here's the problem. The bartender is the nephew of this guy, Brad Wesley. Brad Wesley basically owns the town, okay? He's kind of an unofficial, he's like Boss Hogg. If you really want to know, he's Boss Hogg. He's the unofficial mayor, crime boss of the town. Okay, everybody pays him protection money. He's got a gang of thugs who go around and terrorize people. It's very sad. It's very sad. So Dalton, he's cleaning up the Double Deuce. He's getting rid of guys. It's shocking to me how quickly these fights go from it's a fist fight to I'm pulling out my switchblade and I'm going to stab you because you won't let my girlfriend dance on a table. It's just that quick. It's ridiculous. Okay? Dalton, like I said, is a legend. Everybody's heard of him, by reputation. He's Swayze at his finest. He's wearing jeans. He's got his mullet hanging down. The reoccurring joke is, oh, I thought you'd be bigger, because he's Patrick Swayze. He's about 5'6.5" in high heels. But he's cleaning up. He's doing his Tai Chi on people, fighting them, kicking butt, taking names, almost overnight. The crazy Double Deuce, which was, like I said, anarchy, is now like an upscale place to be, I guess. People will go out to the theater and then hit the Double Deuce afterwards for drinks, for cocktails, if you will. I have to say this. The town seems like a ghost town. And yet, the Double Deuce is huge. It's huge. Even when it was a wrecking crew house that was just being destroyed, it was packed. There was like 100 people in there smashing the place up. And now that it's an upscale joint, there are 100 nice, cultured, sophisticated people frequenting the joint. I don't know what the deal is. Evidently, this is the only nightclub within 1,000 miles, because it seems like that's how many people are showing up. Everybody in the entire town goes to this place, whether they're destroying it or whether they're there to have a cosmopolitan. I can't explain it. Anyway, so now Dalton, he's starting to get the lay of the land. He meets up with a beautiful doctor at the local hotel after he gets stabbed, or I don't know, clubbed, or something happens. They strike up a romance. Okay, one thing leads to another, as it will. Meanwhile, Dalton is talking to his buddy Wade Garrett, played by Sam Elliott, who's a crusty, older, cooler, kind of a silver fox biker type. He comes into town to find out what's going on with his mijo. Hey, mijo, let's get out of town. That's the worst Sam Elliott impression ever, by the way. He's the one who was his mentor, who taught him the rules, the ethic of being a cooler, if you will, okay? They quickly suss out the whole situation, that Wesley has taken over the town. Meanwhile, Dalton has got himself a residence over a barn. This old guy, Emmett, is renting to him for $100 a month. And it's literally a barn. It's not an apartment above the barn. It's like they cleared off a hayloft, put down like an old Indian rug, and said, here's your place, okay? There's no, the draft alone, it's ridiculous. Because again, it's just, there's horses literally just down there. You walk up past the horses to get to your room. There's no door. It's a loft, okay? The barn doors are open. You'll catch a chill. That's all I'm trying to say. Dalton doesn't seem to mind it. What can I tell you? He's able to get up in the morning to the sound of horses neighing just below him. Then he can practice his Tai Chi on the lake, doing his thing, okay? He's Dalton, okay? He doesn't wear underwear, as we see in one particular scene. Some chick from the bar stops by to bring him a bagel or something. And he's like, oh, let me just throw my blanket over there, bone naked. No modesty here. And just pulls his jeans off. It's one of those patented 80s, here's my butt scenes, if you know what I'm talking about. We all know those. Again, no underwear. Just his button fly, 501s, ready for action, if you know what I mean. So, things happen between Dalton and Wesley. Dalton's finally kind of adopted the town of his own. He's no longer the heartless cooler, just there for a buck, in and out. He's got a girlfriend with Doc, the beautiful doctor. This is his town. He also discovers that his girlfriend was the ex-girlfriend of the evil boss hog, Brad Wesley. So now there's that thing. They're trying to tear down the Double Deuce because, again, Dalton fired his nephew, and now he's beating up people. They keep sending more guys. He's beating them up. He sends his... Brad Wesley sends his super flunky to blow up poor Emmett's house. Luckily, Dalton's there to save Emmett, and he gets into a fight with that guy. I don't want to spoil everything. There's a lot of mixed martial arts here, a lot of Tai Chi, because he's a philosophy guy. Because he's not a regular cooler, okay? He's not just some thug. He's cultured. He does Tai Chi. He thinks about philosophy. He reads ancient texts. I don't know. He's a man about town. He's a Renaissance man, if you will. I don't want to spoil everything. I don't want to give it all away, the surprise ending. Okay? It's not much of a surprise, but if you've seen any movie at all, you kind of figure out what's going to happen. But Roadhouse was not a huge financial success when it first came out. People found it kind of ridiculous. But it's become a huge cult classic, as far as I'm concerned. People love it. People who are into Roadhouse are really into Roadhouse. People who are like, Dirty Dancing, not my cup of tea, they're in for Roadhouse. Okay? They're in. I don't know if it's the mullet, it's something. Swayze had that something, okay? Originally, the role of Doc, the beautiful lady, person of interest, she was originally going to be played by Annette Bening, of all people, who at that time was not a huge star. Kelly Lynch was under contract with Universal, so they kicked Annette Bening out and brought in Kelly Lynch, who you might remember from this movie. She was also in Three of Hearts that came out a few years later with like Sherilyn Fenn and Billy Baldwin. I don't know. You might recognize her if you've seen her. She actually says that Bill Murray, whenever he happens to stumble upon Roadhouse, has to immediately drop everything, call her husband, and tease her because of all her love scenes with Patrick Swayze throughout the movie. So there you go. Even though Swayze's practicing a lot of Tai Chi, just kind of that's his thing, his fight scenes are not Tai Chi at all. It's principally boxing with a little bit of mixed martial arts in there as well. So there you have it. This was Swayze at the height of his powers. He had a little something for everybody. He did Ghost a few years later. Everybody loved the Swayze, if you know what I'm saying. Sam Elliott. This was during that period where he was always kind of that grizzly, grungy biker type. He's basically playing a similar role to what he played in Mask a few years earlier. The biker with the long, bedraggled thing and the big mustache. A few years later, he was in Tombstone, of course. All sorts of things. I actually watched a few movies, a few early Sam Elliott movies that may still be on Netflix if you hurry. One of them was Frogs, where he is involved, where there's a house in the swamp where all manner of swamp creatures attack the inhabitants. I don't know what to tell you. It's Frogs. He was also in this movie called The Legacy with his wife, Catherine Ross, who you might remember. She was in The Graduate. She was also in The Stepford Wives. His real wife played his wife in the movie, where she's like, her ancestors or made a deal with the devil. Some kind of crazy deal like that. That is still on Netflix as well. So you have that going for you. I love Sam Elliott. I can't get enough of Sam Elliott. He's a little bit old and grizzled now, so you might not see him as much in movies today. He's still running around there. But what else can I tell you about this movie? It took place in a fictional city, called Jasper, just outside of Kansas City. Problem? There is actually a city of Jasper, just outside of Kansas City. So, I don't know. Coincidence? Is there really a Double Deuce there? Go to Jasper. If you happen to be swinging through Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas, check out Jasper and just ask around for the Double Deuce. That's all I'm saying. Just ask around. This movie is basically a modern day Western, what they felt. A lot of the characters have kind of traditionally Western names. There's a Garrett, there's an Emmett, there is a Younger. There's all sorts of characters whose names are based upon traditional old-timey Western names, if you will. And then obviously, you got the stranger coming in from out of town, and he helps the local inhabitants against the evil crime boss who's taken over the town. People felt that the story was kind of ridiculous for a modern day thing, because in the Old West, in like Tombstone, for example, things like that could happen. Nowadays, if a guy tried to take over the town, I own this whole town, you'd probably go call the state police, maybe the federal BI. You'd get the National Guard, whatever you had to do. It wouldn't just be like, oh man, he's paid off the sheriff. I guess we're screwed. Probably not. That's all I'm saying. Probably not. But that's just what they were going for. You know, there are some guns involved in this movie, but Dalton doesn't use guns. Okay, he uses his Tai Chi, his Eastern mysticism. Okay, and then he beats you up. His big thing is be nice until it's time to not be nice. So there you have it. That's just good. Good for all of us to follow by, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Currently, this movie has a 44% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Frotten's not a word. It's just rotten. Which I find to be shocking and depraved, frankly. Like I said, it wasn't nominated for any Academy Awards, as far as I know. Like I said, it was nominated for a few Razzies. I think it's an enjoyable, good time. It's fun for the whole family. Okay, well, maybe not. Fun for the guys in the house, maybe, and girls who like Swayze's mullet, I guess. So there you have it. It's still streaming instantly on Netflix. I was waiting for this movie to come streaming instantly. So there you have that. So check it out if you have not already seen it, which I find unbelievable. So send me your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, any comments or questions you have about Roadhouse. I'd love to hear what you all think. Next week, I'm going back to the comedy genre. Ghostbusters, one of my all-time favorites. Arguably not a B movie, but that's okay. I do what I do. That's how I roll. Starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis. It's an all-star cast. So check that out. Send me your favorite scenes, favorite quotes. You can reach me on our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. Don't forget to give us the big thumbs up. You can subscribe on our page on YouTube, Kevin D, that's me. And you can also tweet me at KD9575. Don't forget to spread the word. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote, and here it is. This place has a sign hanging over the urinal that says, "Don't eat the big white mint." So there you have it. Thank you for joining us. Be well.